Welcome to the Great Loop aboard the Perch. This is Kim Russo with America's Great Loop Cruisers Association, and this is leg 8, taking us from Daytona Beach, where we left off yesterday, to Jacksonville Beach. So this is our last full day in Florida. As we left the harbor, it was kind of a rainy morning. We were happy to be cruising with YOLO as a buddy boat. And we proceeded on with the dreary drizzle and the rain, and it was just a fine cruising day, though. And as the sun started to break through the clouds, we were treated to this really pretty rainbow. So kind of a special moment in cruising when you get to see something like that on the waterway. But not a particularly challenging navigational day. A lot of this area of Florida is pretty undeveloped along the shore side, so there weren't a whole ton of no-wake zones, although there were some. And kind of the highlight of today as we continue to cruise along is going to be going through St. Augustine. Not much else along the shore side that there is to point out as we go through there. But this was a beautiful Sunday in late March, so beautiful weather once the rain had subsided and that sun, as I said, broke through the clouds. So plenty of other boats on the water, which, when you come across some wakes in some of the narrower stretches, it can be a little bouncy. So we had some of that today, and makes for always an interesting cruise, and we continued onward to the north. There's a few really kind of interesting things. This is a beautiful park along the waterfront here, so we enjoyed seeing that. And this was a looper boat, so it's a sailboat. We don't have a ton of sailboats who are loopers. About 10% of our members tell us that they have sailboats, so it was fun coming across one of them on the water. And there were also some beautiful sand dunes in this area. As you can see from the track, we're really not far from the ocean, and some of the dunes along here seemed like just beautiful scenery. And places that further back down towards Daytona, we had seen a lot of boats beached in those areas. But we were coming through here a little earlier on a Sunday, so, perhaps that's why we didn't see as much boat traffic. It's also not as populated of an area. But as the river starts to twist and turn a little bit more, you can get a view of the St. Augustine lighthouse on the starboard side. And soon we came across St. Augustine on the port side. So that is the view as you're coming past the mooring balls and the marina there, and you can see the city off in the distance. St. Augustine is the oldest continuously populated European settlement in the U.S., founded in 1565, and this is the Bridge of Lions, which is also well known, built in the 1920s, and the lions that give it its name are on the west side of the bridge. As you come through the bridge, you get a view of the Castillo de San Marcos. It is also on the port side, and it is the oldest masonry fort in the U.S., built in the late 1600s, I believe finished in 1695, and built by the Spanish to protect themselves from the British who were in Georgia and the Carolinas at the time. So continuing on, once we had seen the beauty of St. Augustine, a little bit more of the twisting river, but we pretty soon started to come into the area of Jacksonville Beach. We will be staying this evening at Palm Coast Marina, which is in Jacksonville Beach. And as we approached the marina, we knew it was low tide, so we were a little bit worried about the entrance. We knew we had to make a hard turn to port. And as you can see in kind of this next video as we're pulling in, we made that turn, but not enough of it, and kind of managed to miss the first set of markers there. So it was an extremely low tide. It was a full moon that was creating a lower than normal low tide. So we were extremely lucky not to run aground there. Some of the markers are a little tilted and harder to see, and they are not red and green, but they are squares and triangles. So just kind of a warning, no excuses. We just flat out missed it. Coming from the south, it was harder to see than coming from the north. So just a word of caution. But this is our Nebo track for the day. You can see we're underway for a little bit more than 9 hours, went about 73 miles and an average speed of 8 knots, which is a pretty typical day for us right now. Still pushing hard to try and make it to Charleston for an AGLCA event. Please don't take the fact that we are blowing through some of these areas as an indicator that there's nothing to see here. These are areas that we have cruised before, and if we had not, it would be very heartbreaking to not be stopping at places like Daytona Beach and St. Augustine. But there are places we've also traveled by car, in fact, because they're not far from our home. So lots of really good stops here. And don't take our hesitance to stop as an indicator that you shouldn't. We are doing exactly what we tell people not to do, is to have a schedule. And we're stopping short of a schedule because if we can't travel because of bad weather, we won't. But we are trying to make Charleston before an AGLCA event. So hence skipping some of the stops that we really highly recommend loopers check out. This is a little bit more of a detailed look at our Nebo Log. As you can see, it's not just the map that we show you each of these legs. There's actually a detailed report here of different places on the waterway as you pass by and the times that you passed by them. So it's a really thorough cruising log. This is generated by Nebo. Anytime you hit the Start Voyage app, the Start Voyage button in the app, or if you have the Nebo link like we do, it starts automatically and just thoroughly records your journey. So that is what Nebo looks like when you have access to the full log. We will be back tomorrow with our next leg. That will take us from Jacksonville Beach on into Georgia. Our stop for the day will be Brunswick Landing. Thanks for watching.